All right, camera set. Cool. YouTube friends, what's going on? David Lee back with a brand new video. Today we're talking about the trouble with variable ND. As much as variable ND has been a godsend for all of us filmmakers or photographers, anyone that's using a camera in today's day and age, there is also issues with using variable ND. The trouble really comes when you're applying too much ND and the temperature change that comes with that. Now, if you're a still photographer, it's not a huge deal as you have all the raw data you can use to correct that in post-production. But for the rest of us who aren't as fortunate, you have to be able to dial in your white balance to ensure that your skin tones are the right color, to ensure that someone's jewelry or someone's clothes are the right color, and also if you want to be able to start from a clean slate and then be able to color grade your footage to something of more of your style or of your liking, it's better when you have all the colors the way they're supposed to be from the beginning. So that's what we're covering today, and also a few tweaks here and there you can use with auto white balance that I found to work really well with any camera, but specifically the Sony cameras and also the Canon cameras. With that being said, I actually have to go somewhere for a week, so let's pick up at the new location. So speaking of traveling, that's something where variable NDs come in super handy. The reason why is because you may be in a situation where you need to be packing lighter. You won't have enough, room to even carry around a couple of small solid NDs. So having one larger variable ND as well as step-up rings will be able to save you time, also save you space in your kit. But when considering using variable ND, you need to take into consideration two things. So the first one is if you're in a situation where the temperature is changing sporadically, maybe even it's a weather change or outside, all of a sudden there's broken clouds and then a minute later the sky is clear. Maybe you're going from an indoor shot immediately to a outdoor shot and you need to continue filming. You don't have time to stop record and then also switch out ND for, like, say you have a 2-stop ND and you need an 8-stop ND. You don't have that time because you need to film what's going on, what's happening. But the main problem with that is when it comes to white balance. Typically, the more ND you have to apply to a shot, then the more warmer and depending on what camera color science you have, you may get more like a super greenish, yellowish tint, especially with Sony Alpha cameras, or at least with like the older ones, A7R Mark II, A7S Mark II. So what do you do? Well, there's a couple of things you can do. One thing I like first is using an app called Light Spectrum Pro. And what it does is it takes the ambient temperature of a scene and it'll say like 5300 or 7000 or 3200, and that way you can dial that into your camera. It's not 100% accurate. I find it to be like 95-98% accurate, which is pretty good. And then from there you have to kind of use your eye to see like, okay, it's telling me 5300, but this looks like it should be 6000 or 6200. Now, say if you're doing something more run and gun, like a documentary shoot where you're following or tracking a bunch of people, through like a market, or say you're in a building and all of a sudden there's a skylight or something, right? The temperature is going to change. So having variable ND is important where you can immediately cut off the light that you need so that your exposure is suitable to what you want. But the thing with variable ND is the more ND you start to apply, the more warmer it gets, and sort of like the different colors we were talking about earlier start to come into your image. So in that situation, I would recommend to use auto white balance, and also depending on the color science of your camera, you may want to dial in the auto white balance again. Maybe you go a little bit cooler or a little bit warmer, playing around with like maybe something more of a yellow tone, depending on what the scene is like. For me, I'm not much of a fan of auto white balance with certain cameras. Some cameras are great, or if you're taking like raw stills, and I think auto white balance is fine because you can change it all in post production. But for cameras recording video that can't film in RAW, so to speak, then you need to be able to be as accurate as you can with your temperature and your white balance. So use auto white balance, dial in specific settings for your auto white balance so that way you have a more accurate image you can use in post-production. Cool, well that does it for me, friends. Very short video. I just wanted to give you guys my insights on using variable ND. Honestly, I use variable ND more than I use solid ND. I only own like one solid ND filter anyway, so I tend to use variable ND because of situations that I'm in. Time is of the essence, and I may not have, I guess I probably just don't have a better workflow or better system of knowing, this should be 2-stop or 4-stop or 6-stop, something like a light meter would be able to give me. But yeah, variable NDs work pretty good. If you guys like the video, please like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you're notified of new content coming out. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on variable ND versus solid ND and any issues or positives that you have of both. And remember, friends, every day you have an opportunity to create your experience and to write and tell your own story. My name is David Lee, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.